I apologize in advance. I don't have a way of actually mitigating the background audio. So, revision of our salvation. The floor of the arena was soaked in the blood of heroes, a Roman Colosseum used for its original purpose but entirely devoid of the pleasantries of the sport. 295 heroes lay dead in its center, each adorned with armor broken down by time and claw. No fear ever crossed their minds, simply acknowledgement of risk. That's why they were there. Heroes only fight noble causes, and these died for the noblest of all. They wanted to kill the future Demon Lord. This man, the one atop the pile, was the murderer involved in this massacre. 2 years ago, sightings of heroes dying begun to spread like wildfire. First, it was only in Toronto, then it spread outward to other Canadian cities. Later still, a plague-like killing spree spread into the United States. By the 30th month, there lied nothing but bones of heroes worldwide in many cities. These 295 were, however, the catalyst for what the monster needed. The future Demon Lord, Snake, had been gaining power with every gallon of blood spilt. Challengers arise even now at the place where the world is in the balance. The moment Snake gains 300 total hero kills, he will gain enough power to be unbeatable. To this end, the heroes of the world had begun sending less, but Snake began killing civilians to entice the heroes back. Of course, they returned, for what more does the hero love to stop than a villain killing the innocent? Snake climbs down his pile of corpses, every step creating a black flame that only spreads through each body. Once he reaches the bottom, the nearly 300 heroes were reduced to a small pile of ash and blood that still hardens the arena. This is all the heroes could know going in. The final 5 step up to the plate, the strongest the world had to offer. 5 heroes saved in the back in the hope that the demon would be weakened enough to die. Unfortunately, what no sane hero could imagine was how swiftly their ends would be. Snake was not only gaining kills on his road to 300, rather he was also obtaining each hero's signature ability. Under the same function that allowed him his countdown to 300, he also allowed him to obtain these powers. All he had to do was kill them, and all they valued became his own. This capability only extended 1 point further. Should he gain 5 powers, they will combine together. A devastating combination indeed. It was at the fulfillment of all 3 capabilities that he thrived. Due to his killing spree, he had exactly 59 enhanced powers. Such abilities then enhanced themselves further, creating a new tally of 11 powers. These 11, combining over his span, had been what allowed him to get this far. Further disheartening the unlucky spree of these people was the fact that their Kite had already died. Kite, the party's designated healer and most defensive member, found his head splattered upon the floor. Heroes were in shock, having not expected any of them to die, least of all Kite. However, for a glance, they got the chance to see Snake up close. He peered from the pooling corpse of the remaining 4, his ankle-length coat and short, unkempt hair so black it appeared almost absent of light, only making a stark cyan glow of his eyes far more prominent. The 4 remaining party members, Cat the Time Wizard, Falcon the Flaming Fist, Chimera the Illusionist, and Wolf the Necromancer. Not a single one of them had a plan for this. Naturally, having no alternative at this disjoint in their ideas, They had rather relied on their improvisational ability. Thankfully for them, the speed boosting ability Snake had used was on a temporary cooling period. Thus, any attempt to use it again would overheat his legs to the point of catching flame. Cat enhances the speed of the party through Double Excel, ensuring they could get the jump on the Serpentine Demon. Camaro plays a melody with two of its three heads, using the third to whisper an incantation. Wolf calls upon the dead of the area, but no response can be found. Falcon rushes forward, hand igniting with flames given thought rather than mindless intensity. At the loss of Kite, their options were far lesser, as their strongest abilities simply did too much damage to everyone to ensure that they could be used. Snake chides the party, speaking with a gravelly and tired tone. Do you believe heroes can truly embrace the dark? He snickers upon meeting the last word, the cyan in his eyes pulsing a brighter glow as a solid darkness hugs the ground and spreads like a mold. Cat attempts to stop the shadows with a time bubble, but they seem to ignore it entirely. They're unaffected by time? Cat panics, their voice crackling into shrill squealing as they jump backwards from the mass of the floor's shadow. Up close now, Falcon attempts to perform his signature 1000% recoil attack with their equally identifiable flaming fist. Sadly, the darkness had already crept up his legs and onto his fist. Wolf begins throwing bones at the shadows, each combining into variations of human or horse skeletal structures as his necromancy stitches their pieces together and animates it. The skeletons begin kicking Snake repeatedly, yet the Serpent King does not retaliate. Vector acceleration in tandem with particle double. Snake speaks with an ever-widening smile, telling them what he used to kill Kite. I won't bore you with the details, but do have faith in this. He gives a seemingly intentional dramatic pause as he takes a theater bow. You aren't allowed to win. Teased with all the excitement and immaturity of a child dictating the rules of a new game he'd invented. In truth, Snake seemed to be having a blast. His head shot upwards to look upon the oncoming carnage, eyes again flaring. Falcon takes his shot, flashing a thumbs up to Cat as a signal before suddenly appearing before Snake. Cat switches the target of Double Excel to instead singularly focus on Falcon through a snap. Unfortunately, the Snake is nothing if not quick on the bite. Between the time it took Falcon to close the distance and Cat to snap, Snake's jaws too snapped. As it would happen, his little performance moments ago was to buy the last few seconds of Vector Acceleration's cooldown. Falcon suddenly finds himself flung into the floor with his full momentum, only made worse by Cat's Double Excel. Not wanting to waste the moment, Vector Acceleration is used again on Falcon via a kick to the face. Since he didn't have the time to cool, Falcon is set ablaze immediately while he flies at Wolf. Cat disables Double Excel, instead switching their focus to another cast time bubble to slow the ridiculous speeds Falcon is being ragdolled into. Wolf's bones fly to his protection, forming a skeletal warrior with a shield made of the remaining bones. Wolf is protected due to this, but even time bubble couldn't fully stop Falcon's speed as he crashes into the shield and then bounces onto the ground. He is quite thoroughly crushed by this. Even if he wasn't dead, he'd soon be so due to the lack of a healer. Weirdly, Snake had only used 3 abilities thus far. Particle Double to strengthen him overall, Vector Acceleration to fling himself and now Falcon at high speeds, and Shadow Stretch to negate non-dark abilities within his range. However, he has 11 total abilities. Why isn't he using them? Wolf mutters, seemingly entranced with the sheer delight of his enemy despite the drastic opposition in views. That doesn't matter. Just don't let him, Cat reminds, drawing Wolf back into the fight as Chimera finishes its incantation with a final piercing whistle. Alongside the magic and aided by its performance, Chimera's spell casts a field of mist upon the battlefield to disrupt vision. Unfortunately, this had to be indiscriminate as to ensure its full capability. Lacking proper vision, Wolf simply sends their skeletons to fan the area, each taking humanoid shape. Cat mutters an incantation, charging mana for the next strike to hopefully be fatal. Chimera walks over to lean on Cat, exhausted from the power required to cover the entire arena in mist. Snake, however, stands deathly still unharmed from this fight. You're boring. Their eyes shift from cyan to purple as they begin, voice projected actively to ensure they're being heard. Fall. With this word, the mist suddenly pools around the floor rather than covering the area overall. Alongside that, the four remaining heroes each crumble to their knees, incapable of moving their legs beyond that. Cat immediately attempts to counter. Reversion! They shout. It was, however, far too late. Snake's smile stretches beyond what anything should be capable of, lips carving themselves open to allow his entire set of teeth visibility. The shadows he used earlier spiral around his arm as he raises it. Shadow stretch, he commands, letting the darkness cover the area the mist did so long as he stays still. Dominion. He didn't appear tired at all. Instead, he continued. Starfall. From the shadows, dots of light sprang up in equally purple colors until it formed a cluster at the edges of the shadow dome. Severance, he adds to the list of abilities, each star growing brighter yet restricting whatever it is they're about to do. Cat attempts to use reversion again silently, but the shadows disallow it. Wolf attempts to use necromancy, but it is too denied by the light's glow. Chimera attempts a blindness spell, but even that is impossible due to both light and dark existing at once to counteract either form of blindness. Threefold restriction. Eclipse mandate. Nothing remained of the heroes after that, nor the world at large. A red mist comes from the final 5 corpses, finally combining down to the 12th ability. Nothing lasted long after. Snake's final words to the world were but 2, short and sweet. Absolute severance.